Okay, welcome back to the Villa Generals, and today we've got another exciting guest on in Pete Colley. We obviously had a real good reception for our last guest. We wanted to get somebody else on as it's a transfer special. So
no pressure, Pete.
we're gonna delve into some funny stories, hopefully, a bit of a background on him, and hopefully a bit of a roundup of what he knows about Villa's ins and outs in the current market. So I think we'll kick off with a bit of background about yourself, Pete. Really, a bit of an intro.
Just to clarify this, so Greg Evans was my warm-up man, yeah. About right.
Lauren and Hardy in it.
I'll let you take that up with him.
It's the younger me. So basically, you're saying, who are you? Well, Pete Colley started off in '96 covering the Villa, doing Villa club videos. Did that for about a year. Sent one off to Sky. They liked it. Got me in for an interview and ended up working for them for 20 years. Again, covering the Midlands, which included the Villa. Obviously, totally unbiased, as much as I could. And got made redundant about 5 years ago from Sky. So I've been doing freelance stuff. I've been doing some Premier League stuff, but a lot of commercial stuff with betting companies. Okay. As immoral as that is, it's a book, and we all got to pay the mortgage, boys. So yeah, that's about my resume.
Indeed. So like you say, what you're doing now, I mean, I'm sure you've got some fond memories over the years, but you know, how has it been covering the Villa over the years?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, it was it just wasn't going to work, you know. If as a fan, anyway, it was just fascinating, you know. For first time going in, I think the first club video I did, Brian Little was the manager.
Okay.
And I think I was getting a bit too carried away because I wanted to know too much. And he was like, "Hey, hold on a second. Can we stop? It's supposed to be a club video. You're asking me here why he's not playing. That's not what it's about, you know." And I was like, "Oh, sorry, mate, I'm getting carried away." but that's how you get, don't you? You've got that curiosity in here because you want to know why he's not playing, why you're buying him, why did you sell him, for goodness sake, Gary Cahill. You know, all these sort of things. You know, you're watching things, you know, like that season where you're watching somebody like Martin O'Neill, and he's about to get rid of Gary Cahill and Stephen Davis, and you're thinking, I don't get that. And you're asking in a press conference, and of course he doesn't want to answer it because he wants, you know, he's bought Petrov in, he's his man, and I can't remember who he bought him for Cahill, probably Martin Larson eventually, I'm guessing, but
Zach Knight.
Yeah,
from
Rushall for 50 tracksuits.
Was it Richard Dunn as well?
Well, but he also bought Curtis Davison, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So, but just everybody. I remember, you know, some of the other coaches around the place, and they were just like, "What is that about? Why would you let Gary Cahill go?" Because they bought him through. People like Kev Mack and Tony McAndrew, they were just scratching their heads because they bought these kids, and Stephen Davis as well. You know, we've been in Villa's academy, and I think, you know, he's proved to be a cracking little player. He was certainly worth having about the place.
Yeah,
but that was O'Neill. That, you know, he was his own man. And
who was your favourite manager then, mate?
Probably Gregory.
Yeah,
Gregory. It was back in the day when you didn't have press officers, assistants, you know, and players would talk to you. You know, I mean, the great Melberg quote, you know, "I don't like Birmingham City. I've never met them. I just don't like them." That was me and him on the big wheel outside Symphony Hall. And Melberg got in, I got in, the cameraman got in, and the press girl from Villa went, "There's no room for me." And I went, "Oh, all right, see you later, love," and shut the door. And then as soon as we were going round, overlooking like the Birmingham skyline, Melberg's there. "I don't like Birmingham. I don't like them." And all. I was like, "Oh, this is great. This is stuffed us." But
yeah,
it turned out, you know, Brucey printed all that off and put it on the dressing room wall. So Brucey was responsible. But you know, things like.
Did he print it all off? Is that true? He did print it all off and give it to the players?
Yeah. Put it on the dressing room wall, all the Melberg stuff. And the other one we did was we did an interview with Melberg again. I don't know why they kept putting him up. but he was next to the Blues captain at the time, Irish fella.
Kenner.
Yeah, Jeff Kenner.
Yeah.
And I said to him, how many Blues players can you name? And he went, none of them. I was like, well, he's the Blues captain, mate. He stood next to you and he went, I don't know. Again, you're thinking, oh, mate.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this bloke. He just, he knows he's going into a battle.
Yeah.
But it ended up being him, for that first incoming goal. But yeah, in the Gregory days, stupid as it sounds, but you'd ring him up or get through to his secretary, and you just say, "Oh, all right, John, any chance of coming down this afternoon?" And he'd go, "Yeah, okay, son. If you make it 4, I've got the papers coming in as well, and we'll knock you off." But before the press officers and before the players were all like marketable and they were all trained, because you see it, a lot of them now, it's just trained out of them, isn't it? The first thing they say is, yeah, definitely. And then they just say something bland.
Yeah.
And in those days, you got Merce breaking down in the car park, in tears because he was going through his latest dilemma or whatever. And it was, it's just a bit more real, if you know what I mean.
Definitely.
Yeah. And you could publish more as well, I suppose.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, you could get away with it because, I mean, now, like Sky pay lip service to the Premier League because they want to get the contract every 3 years or whatever. So it does get diluted. Then you get a good story. They run it.
Yeah.
I think a lot's diluted.
I mean, when you've got an invested interest in something and you've got to print something that's negative, i.e. a player leaving, or is that difficult? Because you get the reaction. Because I mean, on the flip side, you see it on Twitter pretty much every day where in the morning, a newspaper, I won't mention any, but all sort of put in something that the Villa fans don't want to hear. So it's a load of shit.
Yeah.
And then in the afternoon, they'll print something that they do want to hear. So actually, they're the best thing since sliced bread. Is it the similar on the other side of like you hate it having to print stuff that you don't want to do? Or
I'll tell you what it is. It's now is all about clickbait.
Yeah.
Trying to get you to. I mean, I look at it. I have to put my phone down because I can tell instantly when a story's a crock, and you can tell by who the journo is. We all know if Percy puts John Percy, good mate of mine. We all know if Percy prints something, it's straight up, and it's going to be. But there are other names. I just look at it straight away, and I think, yeah, you work in the Northwest, mate. How have you got a Villa story, and somebody's just trying to feed it out an agent or whatever, and 9 times out of 10, it's going to be bollocks.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
when you've actually got something like that, I think to me, all that mattered, whatever I did, was as long, make sure it's true, make sure it's genuine, and even if it's bad news, say la vie. But I mean, it's football, isn't it? It's not do or die at the end of the day. The worst thing you're going to see is somebody lose their job and probably walk away with 2 million settlement or whatever. So I never really worried about the bad news, just as long as it's true.
Yeah, I think it's a funny one though, isn't it? Because as like you say, it's all about clickbait, but eventually that'll stop because people will click on it and it's a load of rubbish every time. And in the end, it's like, well, actually that clickbait's worked against you rather than for you. But anyway, as we're sort of talking about that now, what's your thoughts on sort of Villa's business so far?
Here we go, Pete. What's clickbait at the moment and what's not? Do you reckon, mate? Smith Rowe. Is that clickbait?
No. I think that's on. I think I mean, I don't cover Villa now day to day like I used to, but I still speak to the lads that cover the beat. And as far as I can see, that there's a third bid going to go in, and I mean the big thing is it'll be massive for Villa, but it will get reported as bigger for Arsenal losing him. This is a kid that's gone through their academy, moved to North London when he was 10 from East London. His whole family uprooted. He's gone through the academy system, and to sell him, I mean, this is the sort of thing managers walk out for, isn't it?
Yeah. What's your thoughts on that, then, Pete? Do you think we've got a good chance of getting him if we put a third bid in? Or
I think so. They've clearly identified him. I mean, Arsenal must hate Villa after Martinez last year.
Good.
I mean, what success he's proved to be. To let this, I mean, he looks great. I mean, I love Saka and him. I'd have either one of them. at Villa.
Yeah.
Because
I do think though there's a bit of the agent is pushing it along to get him a new contract, but I also think that there is encouragement from his agent. I think the agent's playing each other off. He's playing off the new contract for his client off, and he's playing us off to make a bid, and one will give.
But the story keeps coming out in the Midlands, not in London. So I think if anybody's playing anybody, I think Villa are sitting, in the box seat, pulling the strings. Because, like I say, that it's not London journos that's, bringing this story to the fore. It's the Midlands journalists. So I think most of the
and Pete, apart from Villa not being Smith Rowe's obviously boyhood club, they're obviously going to be able to match and deal with anything that Arsenal throw at him and match it and probably beat it.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and all I'd want to know if I was Smith Rowe is Jack Grealish going to be there? Because that would be key to anything. And the one worry with like Jack starting to go and play for England was, well, he's going to get tapped up because every other player that's like Youngsy, Milner, Downing, as soon as they got the England call-ups, that's when the tap-ups started to happen. And you're thinking, this is going to go that way. Mate, might even be going our way for once, where he's talking to Saka and saying, what does Rowe think about this?
Yeah.
But I do think Villa they can definitely come up with the numbers. They can come up with the training ground. They've got the ground. They've got everything set in place to attract a young player like him, and they've got the plan. They've got the plan. If he sat down with Lang and Dino, and let's be honest, what young kid isn't going to be impressed with JT in the background and Shaky? It's a good setup.
I think another factor that you've got to take into account when you're talking about Villa as well is how many players have we've signed or developed ourselves that have now started playing for their country because of playing for Villa. And that's got to be in Smith Rowe's mind, I'd imagine, that, do I stay at Arsenal and perhaps play 20 games, or do I go to Villa and be a main starlet, go and play alongside Jack and Buendia and Watkins and be a star man there? And it's the way that people make their names, not by coming in and out of the team, So
no, massively, because you look at the England squad now. I don't think Cash or Target were far off.
Or Constant.
Or Esri. No, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're a few injuries away from making it themselves, aren't they? So there's good argument there that you get in the Villa side and you will improve your chances of playing for your country. I mean, Southgate's there a lot.
Yeah. But I mean, you take away like the England, you've got Wes, you've got Dougie. So, it just showing that you and Martinez, he's had his first start under Argentina from playing through us, and that maybe players need to look at that and go, maybe I do need to go to a club that will play me week in, week out, and I'll put my name in headlines a bit more.
Well, it's club on the up, club on the down, and I know which one's going up, and I know which one's heading down.
And I think Arsenal need the money, didn't they?
Yeah.
And Arsenal, and we're a club that pays. If we say, look, we'll pay you 60% up front, they're going to take it, aren't they?
I think we'll pay more than that up front, to be honest, mate. I think we're a club that'll go, if we're putting 30 million in, we don't want to be on tick. We'll just pay it.
I think £40 million it'll do it.
Yeah.
But would that be with add-ons, do you think?
They always are. They always are.
So what would you assume the initial is on? Initial fit?
The structure of them now. I mean, to be honest, I haven't been involved with them for a few years, but yeah, it's always England games, how many you achieve, because you can, and how many goals you hit, and then how many internationals you hit. So you could play 10 games, 20 games, and it keeps going up like that.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact Concer's got it in his.
Yeah.
But again, and I know I'm probably being a bit stalkish here, but I looked at.
Pete likes stalkers, don't you, Pete?
I looked at Smith Rowe, agent, and he's only got 3 that's notable online clients on his books. Smith Rowe being one of them. Yeah. So realistically, if Villa are saying we'll give you X amount of money as a signing on as an agent fee, Arsenal have got to match it, or the agent's going to push him to Villa, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Their contract talks will be. That agent will be sat there thinking, "Wow, what's happened to me this close season?" Because nobody saw this as being one of the big stories, but that's the way it's turning out.
I think it's to smoke players out. It'll smoke players out as well. Even if we put a third bid in and it gets rejected, other players with backup plans will think, "Hang on a second, Villa mean business here. I want to come and join that club." So it will smoke other players out as well, won't it, Pete?
Yeah. I think people hear Villa and they know they mean business because that's the reputation and name that they've got in the market now. It's a good one.
Moving down the field then, Pete. So away from number 10, that front sector, moving slightly back. We've got James Ward-Prowse links. We've got that young star kid from over in France. What's your feelings there? What's your understanding of what might be going on in that kind of defensive central midfield place?
I mean, Prowse is a great player, but it's a lot of money. A lot of money. And I mean, I don't know. I saw Southampton quite a lot over the last couple of years, but I do like him. I don't know if he's worth that much money. He's great for the set pieces. I mean, we haven't really got anybody doing that at the minute. No. So, in fact, I mean, if you looked at the end of last season, some of Villa's, set pieces were woeful. And the ball's in, they're terrible.
Yeah, I remember saying this on one of our other podcasts when I think in our first season back in the Prem, I used to dread us getting a corner because I thought we're going to concede here.
Yeah.
Who would you want to see, Pete? Not as a journo, but as a fan, which you are a fan.
Yeah.
If people didn't know that, who would you want to see as a defensive midfielder, then, mate? Who we could gettable?
Yeah, that's where I was going with that question, actually.
Yeah. I know you too well, Azza.
I don't know. I mean, I like the look of Marvellous at the end of last season, and I like Dougie at the beginning of last season because he played great, but his head went again, didn't it? With about 3 months to go, well, probably the time that Jack was injured, he just seemed to have a yellow card in him every game.
Yeah,
waiting for it to come. And of course, then that's a substitution that's got to be made because you've got to put Marvellous on for him. So I don't know. I'd like to see a more rounded Douglas Luiz just push his professionalism a little bit, and because I know he's got it in him, and I think him firing on all cylinders would be fantastic. I mean, it'd be nice to see a bit of weight in midfield. I like that.
6'4".
The Sheffield United player, Sander Berg.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's defensive. I think the defensive wise, I think, like you say, a bit of height. I think that Anguissa is probably a good shout as well from Fulham because he can do the both sides. He can be box to box and he's got that defensive of him. But I think that Burge is a little bit more advanced, isn't he?
Yeah, possibly. But I don't know. We don't seem to have a lot of height in the side, do we? From after the centre backs.
I was thinking as well, Pete. We ain't really been linked to that many players, I don't think.
No.
I don't think we have.
See, again, that's what makes you think the Smith Rowe thing is bob on, because you're right. Well, I mean, we've been linked with Ward-Prowse. There's been a little Ramsey thing put around, but that's probably an agent thing. Smells of that to me.
Harry Winks.
Yeah. Again,
Coutinho.
Yeah. But I don't know. Again, if you're going to buy someone, get somebody who's going to push the team on. Because we've got rid of a few players. What we've got, Neil Taylor's gone out, Elmo, Tom Heaton, Engels, Samatta.
Connor will go, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and it just feels about right. It feels like we've shed that moment, that time, and they were great in the transition from Championship to Premier League. And now we need to, every player that comes in got to be able to progress the club and get better. And I think Dougie needs to get better quicker.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just don't know what Dougie is. I think, like you say, he kind of, you want him to be that player like at the end of last season, not last season, the season before.
Because we saw it.
Yeah.
We saw what player he can be.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden last year, you think, well, is he a defensive midfielder? I don't know what he is. Like, he just kind of, I don't know. Like you just think, should we put him up a bit more advanced, or because he's got no pace?
He's going to hate us, though, isn't he? He's going to hate us if Douglas Luiz ever spoke English and translated his podcast. We seem to speak about him on every podcast.
He's
Yeah,
going to
because
put.
I think it's telling. I think it's telling, though, isn't it? Because I think we speak about him because we all know that there is a hell of a player in there, potentially world class. And we've seen him, and we've seen 3-4 months of that world classness and what he can do, what he can bring to the team. And now that he hasn't bought that for some time, I think that's the reason why we don't really know where he needs to play. And I don't think Smith really knows where he needs to play either, because it's a bit confusing. I saw you play the way you played before. You were great, but now you're not playing that way. What's going on? Where can I play you to get back that Douglas Luiz that we saw before? So for me, that's probably why we're feeling a bit lost with him. So I hopefully he can find it again and bring it back, because he's a hell of a player.
It's the classic role in that. I mean, you look at like Kante or whatever. He snaps at people's heels. He gets the ball. He moves it on, passes it.
Yeah.
Just the water carrier role, just personified.
I think that's a marvellous order. I think he's a player in that marvellous.
Oh, I do as well.
Yeah, I do. I think he's got something. But with Dougie, he's more like, you look at Rodri at Man City. He can play as well. He can do that snap at your heels, collect the ball, and then he can probably knock it on, do a Cruyff turn, and chip it in or whatever. But that's the difference sometimes when you get Spanish, South American players playing in this role. They can also play a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they don't tend to just do the natural thing that we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
For that role, but I think
the big problem we have with Dougie this year is that we don't actually get him back until the middle of August, do we?
No, because he's going to the Olympics.
He's away with Brazil. So there's a little bit of a slight disadvantage.
Here we are then, Pete. I'll do my Juno bit. Douglas Luiz comes back August. Is Jack Remy still there? I'll put you on the spot straight away.
Do you know what? I thought he was going last season. A good friend of his, I was working with him, and I said, "What's happening?" And he was like, "Yeah, looks like it." I told my son straight away, ruined his night. My lad's 21 now, but then he lives down in Bournemouth. He was his girlfriend texted me and said, "Why have you done that? Why have you told him?" And so when he stayed for another season, but that's how important he is, isn't it? It is that would be a season ruiner for most Villa fans if Jack leaves.
And and I think you knocked it right on it, Pete. The Smith Rowe. It's if we get Smith Rowe, it's because Jack's staying.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I think that's it. I think every player that comes in will be told that you're playing with Jack Grealish. That realistically at the minute is the attraction to come and play at Villa. I know we're a progressive club, but if you're being told by somebody you're going to go and play with someone that he's openly said in an interview that he idolises the way that Jack plays, that's a pull. That's a pull.
Yeah, but for me, I know this sounds stupid. It's like buying a house, and you view the house, and all the curtains are up, and all the blinds are up, and you say to the vendor, you said, "Well, we'll make sure all the blinds are up, and all the curtains up, all the lampshades come up." You move in the house, and they've all gone.
Yeah.
And do you know people like that? And you think you'd be so peed off.
Yeah. There's some chintzy blinds, isn't they? You know what I mean? If it's a deal breaker.
I'd be more cheesed off if the dishwasher had gone, to be fair.
Yeah. Like the fridge.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, that is well. Yeah, there's that as well. So what do you reckon? What do you reckon, Pete?
Well, I was a little bit sceptical at the start when Dio came in. I was thinking, good, that's nice. And then they were talking about Smith Rowe and doing a quick deal. At the time, this was a couple of months back, and I thought, are they doing this? Are they getting players in, and then they're going to sell Jack? Because nobody wants to sell the player and then have 100 million. And then all the other clubs going, "Oh, his price has now gone up. His price has gone up." Yeah. I thought they were being really shrewd and buying the players before maybe Jack was sold. But now I'm looking, and now
I'm not sure.
I really hope he signs a new contract.
What's your gut feeling though? If we had to pin you to the wall,
that wall behind you with your guitar.
Yeah.
The only problem I've got, right, is Jack's he's sat there and watched Mason Mount win the Champions League. Reece James has won the Champions League. He'll be looking at Phil Foden, who played in the Champions League final. Be looking at Kyle Walker, talking to them. They're all, they've all elevated themselves to the top of.
And his best mate, Chile.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and his mate Chile, who he's grown up with, who's got a Champions League.
And he's been with them 24/7 with England, hasn't he, mate?
Yeah, but not just that. It's like when Southgate comes to pick that 11, and he thinks Mason Mount's played in a European Cup final. Do you know what? He gets the nod over Jack, because Jack played that Championship final, which was pretty intense, But Mason Mount's got a Champions League medal. Now I know it's not everything; doesn't make him a better player, but the experience. And Southgate keeps talking about tournament football experience, and he believes in that massively. And Jack falls short on that sort of international and European experience. And
Jack's going to want to do the World Cup, isn't he?
Yeah, of course he is. And that's not that far away.
See, the only thing that I would kind of throw back at that is that we all know that Jack doesn't play 100% of seasons. In fact, he plays less than 60% in every single season of his career. Now, the deal at Villa is the minute he's fit, he plays. He goes to City, it takes him 3 months to get back into that. So if he was at City this year, he wouldn't be in the England squad because Pep wouldn't have got him back in enough. Yeah. Villa have thrown him back in because he's gone to Smith and gone, the only way I'm going to get back in the England squad is to prove I'm fit. I need to play. He admits himself he came back earlier than he probably should have done. Now, is that everything? I don't know. But then you've got people like Rashford who have played at that level for a long, long time, can't get in the team. Foden can't get in the team. And you look at Foden's season, and I'm not comparing them because I think they're both unbelievable players, but Foden was rotated under Pep furiously last season to the point where...
But that he's still got in, hasn't he? He's still got the England squad.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say to you is, he's not starting for England now, is he? Do you know what I mean?
Like he's not starting for England, mate, because his first couple of games he didn't play that well.
No, he didn't.
It was awful.
He looked a little bit lightweight, to be honest.
But I'll be honest.
I hear your point, Drew. I hear your point.
I think there's pros and cons of playing at that level, and I think the cons could actually impact Jack as well. Because if he goes to City, I think there's uproar at City that there's players are unhappy with the rotation, so that could be a factor.
His decision, isn't it? Right there. If he goes to, I don't know, if United wanted him, he'd probably play every week, and get all that experience. If Man City wanted him, he wouldn't get in every week. If Chelsea wanted him, he wouldn't get in every week. I don't know, Liverpool, he might do. Might be a good fit.
But again, with a form of Sterling, does their mindset change a little bit because of how well Sterling's played? Yeah.
But Sterling plays well and then just gets rested anyway.
I know.
I mean, let's be honest. We all do fantasy football, don't we? Or have we all grown up?
Yeah, no, I'm playing it. Don't worry.
You don't pick a Guardiola player, do you?
Never.
No, because he won't. He won't play for the next 6
months. Maybe that's where I'm going wrong then, Pete. I've never thought about it like that.
But the only one you can pick every week is Ruben Dias and Kevin De Bruyne. If they're both fit, they play. Yes. Outside of that, everyone's rotated.
See, the thing with Jack Grealish as well, Pete, and I've said previously on the podcast, it's not just a player you're buying with Jack now. You're buying a commercial machine. And Man City will be like that. They're thinking, oh, brilliant. All those shirts he sold for England. It's not all about playing. It's the commercial and how much Jack's gonna earn as well, isn't it?
Oh, his potential now after this Euros is massive because
huge.
He's come out of it that he's the pin-up boy and he's a bit cheeky and all of a sudden Brummy's the way you lot talk he's all trendy again, isn't it? In fact, people are realising that that's how Brummies actually talk and not like those tossers in Peaky Blinders that don't sound anything like Brummies.
They're black country, they are. That's why. They're black country. Everyone says that to me. They say, "Oh, you don't sound like them." I'm like, "No, we don't."
Because he's Irish. He's fucking Irish.
I tell you what, talking about that today, someone in Ireland has put on the side of a building a picture of Declan Rice.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty good. I thought Youngsy coming back, is decent business. I thought it was a lot of money that he's on, for his age, but. If that's what the going rate is, he's a good fill-in player, isn't he? I mean, I don't think he's going to move Matt Target much, but he'll play. It'd be nice to have a good player to bring in for the Carabao Cup and things like that. And if he does get injured, you know, much as Neil Taylor helped us, and you know he earned his badge and all that. Flipping heck, when Taylor used to come on, he used to do my head in.
Heart attack.
Yeah.
He was a heart attack,
so at least now, obviously, if Youngsy comes on or whatever, I mean, he's daft. He's right-footed, you know. But anyway, you know,
I bet he's a good man to have in the change rooms as well, isn't he, Pete? You know what I mean? He's got a good understanding. He knows the club. He's experienced. The young players will love training and being around him.
He's got cocky swagger in him.
It's a ballsy move because everyone's round about 24, 25, 26, aren't they? Most of the squad, you know, they picked very well, really. Apart from Emi, what's he, 28, something like that, Emi Martinez. So yeah, Youngsy comes in and it changes, you know, the dimensions of the squad a little bit. So yeah, it should be a massive positive.
Do you think he sort of replaces the Tom Heaton figure though? Yeah,
I do.
I think you've seen it a few times on Jack's social medias that he sort of says he's not just one of the best people he's one of the best people I've ever met in football, just a really good human being. And I can imagine that Young is a bit like that, where he's got that experience. He'll talk you through it. He'll give you his ear if you're struggling with something. And I think you take someone like that out, and I know that John Terry's there as well, but I think if you take someone on the playing staff out, you kind of need to replace it, didn't you?
I'll be surprised if the DM's not got a bit of experience about him as well.
Yeah. It's I think with John Terry, I think you can only be friends with the lads for so long if you want to push on into management, and you've got to distance yourself from the role. So he's probably having to do that a little bit more. But I think Ashley Young will definitely do this, and he's got great memories of being at Villa. He was a big start, but do you know what? For all his, you know, he can be a bit of a lad and all that. He actually doesn't suffer fools particularly. Youngsy, he's quite level-headed.
That's good.
So he'll be good for him, and especially the youngsters as well, because he, I don't know, he experienced a little bit. You know, it was touch and go whether he's going to make it, wasn't it, when he got into Watford? And he's a maximiser.
Because didn't he get released originally, and then they took him back?
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
I remember reading something about that when he first signed.
He's one of those that had a chance. It's like, I mean, Kevin Keegan's probably the best example. He wasn't the best player in the world, but he maximised his potential. You know, he practiced more than anybody else. You know, he built himself up more than anybody else, and he maximised what a player he was. And Youngsy kind of did that, really. I mean, like, you know, left winger with the right foot. We all knew what he was doing, didn't we? Oh, Youngsy's going up the wing. Youngsy's going up the wing. Oh, he's going to turn. He's going to, you know, he's going to get it on his right foot, isn't he? But it still confused everybody that we played every week.
It's like Robin. Remember Robin? He used to do that all the time.
Robin.
He used to cut in, but no one seemed to read it.
He'd still get away with it week in, week out. It's like, you know what he's going to do.
That's it. Okay, so how many...
moving on to... sorry.
No, go on, Az. You carry on.
Emi Buendia. What about Emi Buendia? Pete, what are we thinking about him?
Well, he looks great, doesn't he? I mean, you're expecting, really, to fill in the hole that Ross Barkley filled for about 3 months.
Don't say Jacks.
No. Well, I don't think so.
He is the Ross replacement.
Yeah, he's a number 10, isn't he? I mean, I remember interviewing Dino at the end of last season. And I think it was the penultimate game, because I said to him, it's going to be Ross Barkley's last chance in a Villa shirt, because he couldn't play the Chelsea game, could he? They'd been the parent club.
Yeah.
And I said, any thoughts on keeping him? And he just went, no, the deal was, we got him for 12 months, mate. So no, he's going back. And I thought, fucking hell. Yeah, okay. That's
in God.
Yeah. Normally they try and dress it up a little bit, you know, we'll have a look at it after. But
no. We'll
Oh,
have a chat. We'll see.
Yeah.
That was it. It was done. I think he was done when he bought him off and kicked all the water bottles. I think he was done from there. To be honest with you, because he didn't play much after that.
What do you think that was all about then, Pete? Do you think it was a bit of he was a bit annoyed with himself over the levels that he was playing at as well, or do you think it was just I'm better than this? Or
I think there's a bit of that. I think you get somebody like him. It's a bit like Drinkwater when he came in. It's like, you know, I'm a Premier League winner, but you know, I've come here to help you little boys out or whatever. And Well, it's not really like that, is it? You know,
No.
Villa are a club on the up anyway, and I think Barkley had a smattering of that, but he started off really well.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, who's going to get the Liverpool game? It was a phenomenal.
I remember the night against Arsenal, and I'm thinking we've got a right team here. I honestly was so excited about last season at that point, and like you say, he got that injury and he just didn't recover, did he?
What do you think of Loftus-Cheek, Pete?
He looked all right, didn't he? He was,
would you have him?
Not sure. I'm not sure how far progression he is. You know, I suppose you got to think about some of the kids that are coming through as well over the next couple of years. You know, we've got some good kids pushing through. But it's going to be, you know, how long is it going to take them to come through? So you need somebody quite impactful, you know, straight away, don't you?
Yeah,
that's what I think we'll
get. It needs to be an immediate impact. And Barkley looked to be
I think for me.
But I think Buendia will.
Yeah, with the youngsters coming through. Sorry, Pete. Go on, mate.
No, sorry. I've gone off on a Barkley tangent, but I think Buendia will do that role. I think as a number 10, you know, looking at some of the games that he played for Norwich and playing with, you know, no offence to Norwich, but better quality players like Villa. What the hope is that we are buying players in that if Jack Grealish does go out, you know, missing again for 3 months with a shin injury, that we won't do what happened this year, and that is heads drop, the levels drop, and the wins drop. So I think that's what they're planning for. Is if Jack is injured, which is.
I mean, if we get Smith Rowe and we keep Jack, and I tell you now.
I honestly think, and I know I'm biased, but I honestly think you look at that front four of Watkins up top, Jack left, Smith Rowe in the middle, or Buendia in the middle, and vice versa.
Swapping.
That is, I mean, all three of them all swapping interchange. That, to be honest with you, is a real.
They've all got legs, haven't they, mate?
Yeah, it's a frightening front four. It really is. We've lots of with progression as well. Ages on the right side, so
I might have to try and stay sober next season.
Yeah, try and watch some of it. Yeah.
Shall I tell you one thing that's going to massively dictate or expedite Jack's signature on a new contract? And that is, I think the season tickets are out today. Do they start dripping them out today?
The relocation the season tickets went on sale about a month ago.
Right.
No, but total yourself.
Sales will just go if Jack signs his new contract, because that's what all people want to know. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think we've done 25,000 already. 27,000 already apparently.
Really?
And and we've got 15,000 on the waiting list. There you are. There's exclusive for you.
Yeah, look at you.
I know. Sorry, Pete. So I come and sit there, mate.
Who's the special guest here, Pete?
I know they're looking to replace Jim White. You know.
There you go.
Not his nose, Pete.
I reckon you could bullshit your way through 2 hours.
I reckon I could, Pete. You know me, mate. I could.
Listen. Well, what do you think if you were putting you know, how many more do you think are coming through the door? And let's. I think asking that question is sort of saying that Jack's staying, so we're not, you know, so as we are.
Well,
I got to say, I think Pete's got away with this a little bit. He's not giving. You're not giving us a firm answer if you think Jack's going to stay, mate. Yes or no? Look his face. Look. Touch your nose if you think he's going to stay.
Yeah, I think he will.
There we are.
Up the Villa.
Well done, Pete.
I think he will. I do.
He'll tell us his real answer off screen.
Of course he will. He's touched his nose there as well.
Yeah. Now, go on. How many do you think we'll see come through the door?
I think you can, another centre half.
Yeah.
If I don't know what depends what happens with Freddie Gilbert. I mean,
I think he'll go. To be honest.
Yeah.
I think Young covers both, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And I think Freddie. Why take up a place in the squad when someone can do both? Go and get him another year playing. Why sit him on the bench?
So we got number 10 centre half.
Yeah. And I think another midfielder.
Defensive or?
No, I think attacking.
What, so you think you'll get another at number 10 and like a number 8?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
If you made it like that. Yeah, good shout.
Yeah.
Good shout, Pete.
Yeah, and I think I think you got to put people under pressure now. I think like people like, you know, and no offence, and John McGinn needs to be put under pressure for his place, because he's played really well for Villa, and now he needs to push on.
No easy shirts next season.
What's your
absolutely?
What do you like about Sanson at the moment, Pete, or not like about him? What you seen?
I don't know. Do you know what? I didn't see enough to form a really good opinion. Or you? I thought he looked.
No, not really.
He looked competent enough.
I don't think we saw the real side of him, though, did we? I think there's a lot more to come.
Not yet.
I tell you what, I didn't see this absolute bargain that Villa were getting. Really, you know,
it was what, 30 million the season before.
Yeah,
I'd have been gutted if I spent 30 on him.
Pete, do you know what else I didn't see, mate? I didn't see him in the training pictures today either.
No,
he weren't there. He weren't there.
They're coming in drips, so isn't they, mate? They're coming in like groups of four.
Coming in drips. He hasn't played for how long? He didn't play a season. He only played 3 games for us. You think you'd be raring to go for the door?
What I mean by that, though, is if they're doing the testing, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're all going to come today. There could be the other lot could be coming tomorrow.
That's true.
Yeah, true. He won't be there. He won't be there tomorrow either. I tell you.
Come on, Jim White, get onto it.
They're normally all coming at once, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm just thinking with these like the bubbles. That's all.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Pete, 50 million. You've got 50 million, right? And you can spend it on any player you like. It doesn't have to be someone that we've been linked with, just a player of your choice. You've got 50 million quid. Who are you plowing that money into?
I'd drip feed Jack that as wages.
Yeah.
Until he was 33.
Yeah.
And
35.
I think you speak for the majority of the fan base when you say that. I think most people would do that.
I'd let him go to Albion when he's 33 and go and play in the Championship.
I actually think, Pete, that's probably the best answer we've got yet for 50 million. When we give it to him, so well done.
I tell you what, mate. If that girl who was crying got money on the GoFundMe page, imagine how much we get for Jack Grealish to sign again.
Can we leave that girl alone now? You've already slated the father.
Let's just draw a line.
Yeah, draw a line there. Now leave it, mate. Leave it. Park it.
I am a lawyer.
Yeah, I am as well. I'm texting him as we speak.
Anyway, listen, we spoke about Villa quite comprehensively now. So obviously, the other side of football for ourselves. What's your sort of predictions with England?
Well, it's a good unit that we're going to play against Denmark, isn't it? They're a good tight side. Yeah. They found a new way to play without Eriksen.
We lost 1-0 to them at Wembley, didn't we?
Yeah, but they've found a nice.
Oh, mate, don't come with that one. We got 2 players sent off.
We still lost 1-0.
Yeah,
I think you'd expect that.
They've got a good efficient system, and they've got a cause now. And there's a little danger there because they are all playing for something, and their manager's been very cute about it. You know that first night when they had to replay the or carry on playing the second half, they were all in shock.
Yeah, it was a disgrace,
and they lost. It was a stupid decision, but I get why constraints and times and everything. I don't think UEFA had much choice, but now the manager has turned round and used the situation to his advantage, and they're all they're all fighting like mad, crazy.
Yeah.
Games.
Okay.
What's your score prediction, Pete?
I think it could be a tight 1-0 to England, but I think
I'll take that.
I think we've got enough. All this people saying we'll take the shackles off a little bit against Denmark. Well, I don't think we will because
I think tough team.
The way that he plays just means England dictate the tempo. Because we take the ball back, we knock it about a bit and slow it down for a little bit until it's deemed that an attack is.
Think he'll go back to 5 at the back then, mate?
They play 5. Denmark do.
So we'll play 5 then.
Yeah, well, so on that then, that was my next question. Bear in mind that they play 5 at the back. What would you start with?
Well, do you know what? It doesn't matter what I would. What it will be, we'll know. I mean, I think Luke Shaw has done more than enough to keep his position at left back. I think
Walker will be another centre half again. So that back three pays for itself, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it's going to be Maguire, Stones, and Kyle Walker. And as much as I don't think Kyle Walker's had a magnificent tournament so far, it's just his pace.
And that's it, isn't it? Because with him in the team, you can't get countered.
Yeah, and I'd probably play Reece James because I think he's a great right back. I prefer him to Trippier.
Agree.
Probably play Reece James on the right.
Good shout, those.
And then Rice and Phillips. Phillips, I think, has been fantastic.
Yeah,
Absolutely. The pair of them together. I watched them the other night against the Ukraine, and Kyle Walker kept leaving his right back position, and either Rice or Phillips straight away would just go and cover him. And it just meant that Sancho then and Walker were, the defender just didn't know what to do. He didn't know marking.
Do you know what I said to the lads, Pete, as well? You got to remember, we were playing a high-pressure game against Germany, and they were both on bookings. But they just played like they weren't bookings. They just managed the game so well. Previous years, an England midfielder had been sent off.
Yeah, Phillips is just a throwback to a day, a bygone age where he goes in and he just leaves a bit on the player.
Brian Robson, like a Brian Robson.
Oh, he's terrific. He's absolutely terrific, and I know he's a Leeds player, but he's Calvin Phillips is fantastic.
Superb. And then your front three would be Kane. Obviously, is going to start.
Yeah, I think Kane, Sterling, and
would you bring Saka back in?
I would be tempted to bring Saka back in. Yeah,
he's played that formation, hasn't he? And why change something that's broken?
And it works.
Yeah,
it works with Saka.
I think we need pace against them, because if we get pace,
I think Saka's got a knock, but the only problem with Saka and Jack is, I think with Gareth and his caution, the way the way he is, I know that he knows if he tells Mason Mount what to do, he will do it exactly to the letter of the law. Southgate knows that Jack or Saka, if they look up and think there's only two in front of me, I'll take it around him. Yeah. I'll definitely get it around him. I think he doesn't want that. He wants somebody who's going to go, no, it's too risky. Let's knock it back, and we'll perhaps play it out on the other side. Do you know what I mean? I think
definitely.
I think that's some of the question marks over Jack's role.
Coming on.
Okay, then. Yeah, last question. Can we win it?
Yeah, absolutely.
The whole tournament.
The whole tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, best chance for years. And I mean, listen, I'm a 1990 and 96 survivor. I've lived through them both. And it was as much good fun as it was.
What we're trying to say is me and Peter are old.
Yeah. Just the best chance in years, isn't it?
Right, I'm happy to leave it there. That's all I need to know. We've got the best chance ever. I'm really excited about the team we've got, to be fair, and I'm on board. I think we can do it. So
just watch out for the Italians.
No, absolutely. But again, they've lost a big player in theirs, haven't they? Locatelli. That's Spinazzola. Yeah, that's massive for them. But listen, we'll leave it there. Listen, Pete, really appreciate it, mate. Really, thanks for coming on. And please like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Pete. You're a star, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Up the Villa.
Excellent, mate.
Cheers, boys.